So after playing the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo, it makes me wonder what other classic RPG games would fit in this type of remake. I think the first one that comes to my mind is a little game called The Legend of Dragoon. What game would you want to be remade in the style of the Final Fantasy Remake? Hey guys, it's Rob here, and welcome back to the Robo Show, where we cover the latest gaming news, leaks, and rumors from Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo in 2020 and beyond. If you want to be kept up on the latest gaming news, make sure you click that red subscribe button below this video and that notification bell so you know when I upload. In this video, I'm going to give you my Final Fantasy VII Remake demo thoughts and impressions. We're going to go over the combat, what the demo was about, what's in it, how it looks, and just talk about some good old-fashioned Final Fantasy. So as someone who's never played Final Fantasy, I know, shocking, right? Someone who constantly says they love RPG games and JRPG games but never played Final Fantasy VII. I'll get there eventually. But I think not experiencing the original Final Fantasy VII back on the PS1 in 1997, it's been that long, it gives me a fresh outlook on the game and made me enjoy every single millisecond of this demo of Final Fantasy VII even more. And man, did I have a blast going through this. So the Final Fantasy VII demo starts you at the beginning of the game. Right off the bat, we get some great looks at the protagonist, and the demo jumps straight to the combat. Depending on what difficulty you have, it'll be slightly different the way you fight. If you have it on classic mode, you will automatically dodge an attack, but it's up to you to use your ATB gauge and decide what moves you want to use, which if you don't know what an ATB gauge is, it's a meter that fills up over time and each move takes a certain amount of that ATB gauge. I found that putting the Final Fantasy demo on classic mode made the game much more easier, and I flew through it on my third try. Putting the game on normal will make enemies more tougher, have more health, and if my gameplay is anything to go off of, have more varied attacks. I think on my first playthrough of the full Final Fantasy Remake game, I think I'm going to put it on normal because that's more fun to me. I do hope they have a harder difficulty than normal when the full game is available. Now in the Final Fantasy Remake demo, you can play up to 2 characters, Cloud of course being the main character, and Barret, and I just absolutely love how these two play so differently. Cloud has 2 different modes, Punisher mode and Operator mode. Punisher mode lets you block attacks with your sword and do heavy strikes, while Operator mode lets you do swift and fast strikes. Now what I noticed is that in some cases, Operator mode would be more effective against certain enemies, and Punisher mode would be more effective against other enemies. This kinda adds replayability to the demo and even the full game when that comes out to test which ones are better and kinda make your own strategy on how to beat this enemy. Barret on the other hand is a ranged character, which came in handy for those flying enemies or turrets that Barret could only hit. Now Barret has 2 modes that are a bit different from Cloud's modes. Something that the game doesn't really tell you is that you can charge the attack, and when it's full you can use this skill which releases a powerful attack. It was actually pretty cool finding out something that the actual tutorial didn't really tell you. And it makes me wonder what other kind of little things that you're gonna find out in the full game that the tutorial doesn't tell you, because the tutorial really gives you the basics and it doesn't really give you everything. Having such different characters work well together created for some amazing and satisfying gameplay, and to think this is just the very small portion of this game. The stagger system also makes a comeback in this game, which I've always liked from previous Final Fantasy games. Certain enemies will have weaknesses or be more vulnerable to certain attacks. The final boss was vulnerable to lightning, so Barret had that skill, so I used him more. It helps build up the ATB gauge more and cause some decent damage. Gameplay aside, the demo has you infiltrating a base to destroy the power plant. According to Barret, this power plant is sucking life from the planet. He says that the planet is bleeding. You kind of see that in the opening now that I think about it. As someone who's never played Final Fantasy VII but played a lot of other Final Fantasy games and other JRPG games, this aspect really piqued my interest. And from a graphical standpoint, this looks amazing. I'm playing it on the base PS4 and even then it looks really good. The character models, the environments, everything, except the voice acting in some parts. Barret's voice actor is really over the top, which each of its own. I kind of enjoyed it, but I think he can tone it down a bit. The way the game transitions from gameplay to cutscenes also, it looks very good. And this is really one of the big reasons why I would like to see other games get remade. After playing the Final Fantasy Remake demo, it got me thinking what other games could benefit from a form of a remake. There are a lot of great RPG games that could really benefit from a makeover or a remake. I know that the Legend of Dragoon remake is a very hot topic and something that a lot of you guys really want. Of course, me too. Imagine seeing the Legend of Dragoon in the Final Fantasy Remake style. I do think the gameplay doesn't really need to change too much, but to have the option to play in classic mode or remake mode would be really cool if they ended up doing a Legend of Dragoon remake. I think depending on how good this game is and how well it does, we may end up seeing other Final Fantasy games get remakes. I know a lot of people don't like the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy, but I'd love to see that series get a remake. I like 13-2 and Lightning Returns the most. I didn't really care for 13, but hey, maybe in the remake they can spruce up things for 13 and make it better. 13-2 is definitely a game I want to play through again though. So what do you think about the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo? Did you enjoy it? Maybe you checked it out already. Maybe you haven't checked it out. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching my video, and make sure you like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.